Think about the phrase, I laughed at the movie.
Okay.
Now, change just one tiny preposition, right? I laughed through the movie.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a completely different vibe.
Exactly. I mean, if you laughed at the movie, you enjoyed a comedy, right? But if you laughed through the movie, you were probably like a sociopath who ruined a heartbreaking historical drama for everyone else in the theater.
Yeah, you're either a great audience member or just the absolute villain of the cinema.
Right. And the words are almost identical, but the reality of the situation is just entirely different.
It really highlights how fragile human communication can be, you know. We treat language like it's this robust, unbreakable tool, but it often hinges on just the smallest possible components.
Which brings us to today's deep dive. Welcome, everyone. We are exploring the grammar of time and action today, specifically in Japanese, where the stakes of a single syllable are just hilariously high.
They really are.
Our mission today is to unpack this document called Mastering Aidani, the Grammar of Time and Action. And we're going to look at how the addition or subtraction of just one tiny sound can literally be the difference between describing a relaxing vacation and like an absolutely terrifying, physically impossible feat of endurance.
Yeah, and to understand why that single syllable is so powerful, we really have to look at the baseline rule first.
Right.
We need to look at the grammatical horror story that unfolds when you leave this syllable out.
Let's get into that. So we are dealing with the Japanese concept for a span or period of time, and the character is pronounced Aida.
Yes.
And just as a quick note, for anyone familiar with Japanese who's listening, we are strictly reading this character as Aida today, never ma. That's like a completely different reading for a different context.
Right, exactly. So grammatically, Aida represents a block of time.
Okay.
But when you use Aida all by itself to connect two ideas in a sentence, it enforces this really merciless rule.
Merciless how?
Well, it dictates that an action continues from the very first second of that time frame to the very last second, continuously, without a single pause.
Wow. So the grammar demands absolute unbroken continuity.
Unbroken. I mean, if the time frame is a week, the action happens uninterrupted for 7 days and 7 nights.
Okay, so imagine trying to tell your friends about your recent trip to Tokyo. And you want to say, while in Japan, I climbed Mount Fuji.
Right.
So you use this word. You say, Nihon ni iru Aida Fujisan ni nobotta.
Yes.
To an English speaker, that sounds like a totally normal vacation highlight. But a native Japanese listener is processing a completely different reality.
They are processing a literal nightmare. Because you only use the word Aida, you are unwittingly making this terrifying claim.
Right.
You're telling your friend that for your entire stay in Japan, let's say it was a 14-day trip, you were continuously, ceaselessly climbing up and down Mount Fuji.
So what does this all mean? You step off the plane at Narita, immediately sprint to the mountain, and just keep hiking for 336 hours straight.
Basically, yeah.
That's not a vacation, that's a mythological punishment. No sleeping, no eating sushi, no temples, just endless marching.
That is the perfect way to describe it. You're trying to share a fun memory, but instead, you're just describing this agonizing physical ordeal.
Oh my God.
And your friend is just staring at you, wondering how you are even standing there talking to them, because your legs should have fallen off days ago.
That's the trap for language learners, right? You think you're sharing a postcard, but you're actually pitching a horror movie.
Exactly.
And obviously nobody wants to suffer a mythological punishment on their vacation, so we need a way out of this unending hike. We need like a grammatical escape hatch.
And the escape hatch is the syllable ni.
Just me?
Just ni. By taking the word Aida and adding ni to the end to create Aidani, you shatter that rigid continuity.
Thank goodness.
But to understand why this works, we need to look at the underlying mechanism of the language. In Japanese, ni is a particle.
Oh, okay.
And you can think of particles as tiny functional markers that give directions to the words around them.
Okay, so what direction is nai giving in this case?
Ni functions as a target marker. It pinpoints a specific location in space or a specific point in time.
Oh, interesting.
Imagine throwing a dart at a dartboard. The board is your available space, and the dart hitting a single plate that impact, that's ni.
Ah, okay. So when you stick ni onto the end of Aida, which is our big span of time, you are suddenly throwing a dart at that span of time. You're targeting one specific spot inside of it.
That's the exact mechanism at work.
Yeah.
You are signaling that an action happens only once or at one specific point within the larger time frame.
That helps a lot.
And a great way to conceptualize this, which is in the source text, is to think of a time box and an event ball.
A box and a ball, got it.
Right. So imagine the larger period of time, your entire vacation in Japan, as a large empty cardboard box.
And the action climbing Mount Fuji is a single ball. So if I use Aidani, I'm just taking that single ball and tossing it into the box.
Yes.
It doesn't take up the whole box, it just occupies a small space inside of it.
Precisely. Applying Aidani to your Mount Fuji sentence means the vacation is the big box, and the climb is just one little ball inside it.
So you've correctly conveyed that you took a few hours on just one of those days to reach the summit.
Exactly. The nightmare is over. You climb the mountain, you come back down, and then you can go relax in a hot spring like a normal human being.
Okay, let's unpack this a little more because I want to synthesize this with my own visual analogy to make sure everyone gets it.
Go for it.
So Aida is like taking a bright yellow highlighter and dragging it across an entire calendar week, right? You're highlighting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way through Sunday.
Right, the action saturates the whole week.
Exactly. But Aiden is like taking a thumbtack and pinning it to just one specific Tuesday afternoon on that calendar.
Oh, I love that. The highlighter versus the thumbtack is a brilliant synthesis.
Thanks.
Because the highlighter represents that inescapable duration, But the thumbtack pinpoints the event, isolating the action within the broader time frame.
Right. And, most of us aren't climbing volcanoes every minute, but this thumbtack rule applies to the most mundane aspects of daily life, too, and the consequences of messing it up are just as funny.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, imagine you were planning your summer break, and you want to move into a new apartment.
Right, so if you approach your landlord or a friend and say, Natsuyasumi no aida hikoshi shitai desu, meaning, I want to move during summer vacation, but you use only Aida.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you are declaring your intention to spend the entire 2 months of summer vacation physically carrying boxes back and forth.
60 straight days of lifting couches.
It's a terrible way to spend a summer.
Seriously.
But by adding that target marker, Aidani, the summer vacation becomes your large time box. The move becomes the single event ball you drop into it.
So you are simply hoping to get the move done on one specific weekend within that huge break.
Right.
That makes total sense for a planned event. But what about unpredictable things? Say I'm expecting a package and I step out to get groceries, I come back and I want to ask my roommate, did someone visit while I was out?
Okay, so your absence from the house is the time box. The visitor knocking on the door is the ball.
Right.
It happens once, it's over, but it occurred inside the window of your absence. The Japanese phrase uses Aidani to perfectly encapsulate that brief, contained event.
Okay, wait. I want to push back on this box and ball idea for a second because I'm thinking about another everyday chore cooking. Let's say a parent is talking about making dinner while their child takes a nap. The Japanese sentence uses Aidani, right? Indicating cooking dinner is the ball and the nap is the box.
Yes, that is correct.
But wait, a visitor knocking on a door takes like 5 seconds. It's a dart hitting a board. Making dinner takes an hour. It's an ongoing process.
Right.
So the ball in the time box doesn't actually have to be an instantaneous flash, does it? It just has to be an action with a clear start and finish that fits entirely inside the bigger box of the nap.
That is a crucial distinction.
Yes.
The ball does not have to be instantaneous.
Okay, phew.
The rule of Aidani isn't about the action being incredibly short. It is just about the action having a definitive start and finish that fits entirely inside the boundaries of the bigger box.
So if the kid sleeps for 2 hours, that's a large box. Cooking dinner takes 1 hour. That's a medium-sized ball.
Exactly.
But because the 1 hour cooking session fits completely inside the 2 hour nap, Aidani works perfectly.
Right, think about the alternative. If the parent used just Aida to describe cooking while the child slept, they would be saying that the cooking started the exact millisecond the child's eyes closed.
Oh boy.
And the cooking only stopped the millisecond the child woke up.
Which means if the kid sleeps for 5 hours, you are stirring that soup for 5 hours straight.
Exactly. The geometry of Aidani requires containment. As long as the preparation of the dinner starts after the child falls asleep and finishes before the child wakes up, it is a contained event. It doesn't bleed out over the edges of the time frame.
Okay, but what if the baby wakes up while you are actively chopping vegetables?
Then the reality of the situation breaks the grammar of Aidani.
Really?
Yeah, because your action of cooking was not completed within the boundaries of the nap box. The box disappeared before the ball was fully formed.
Wow, I love how rigid the internal logic is.
It's very precise.
But we've been talking about this like, it's just geometry, right? We're arranging shapes on a timeline so you don't sound like a maniac who hikes for 2 weeks straight.
Right.
But there is a whole other layer to this grammar that goes beyond just factual accuracy, doesn't there?
You're referring to the psychological weight of the particle.
Yes, because Aidani isn't just a clinical way of organizing a calendar. It carries a profound psychological feeling of a time limit.
It really does. It's fascinating how a tiny grammatical marker encodes human intention.
Yeah.
Aida isn't just plotting a point on a graph. It communicates a distinct sense of urgency. It tells the listener, I intend to get this done before the period ends while I still have the chance.
Here's where it gets really interesting for you as a listener, because this tiny syllable turns a simple sentence into a subtle call to action.
Absolutely.
It's the linguistic equivalent of a ticking countdown clock in a video game. You know that feeling when the timer turns red and the music speeds up? That is the emotional reality of Aida.
Yes.
The box isn't just an empty container. The walls of the box are slowly closing in like an Indiana Jones trap. Get the ball in there now.
Let's apply that Indiana Jones tension to a workplace scenario.
Yeah.
Imagine you are at the office and a colleague steps out for a meeting. You want to be helpful, so you say, I'll clean the room while you are away.
Right.
Using ADD.
Right.
You are not just stating a fact for the company record, you are racing against the clock.
Right. You're saying, I need to vacuum and empty the trash before you walk back through that door.
Exactly.
You are utilizing a fleeting window of opportunity to show consideration, getting a disruptive chore out of the way before the space is occupied again.
And that urgency translates into tourism and hospitality as well.
Oh, how so?
Imagine a local recommending spots to a traveler. They say, please try to visit Kyoto and Nara while you were in Japan. Again, using Aidani.
Ah, I see. That's not just a geographical recommendation. They aren't just handing you a brochure.
No, not at all.
They are saying, your time here is limited, the vacation is going to end, seize the moment and get to Kyoto before your flight leaves.
Right. It communicates strong encouragement to take advantage of present circumstances. The speaker recognizes that the window is closing, and they are urging you to act before the opportunity vanishes.
Let's look at one more scenario, a classic high-stress business environment.
My favorite.
You need to pull someone aside, and you say, I'm going to go talk to them in the time before the meeting starts.
This is where you can truly feel the squeeze. The meeting is approaching. The window of free time is rapidly narrowing. The knee in Aidani holds all of that tension. The speaker is declaring, I am going to inject this finite, necessary action into this shrinking space, and I will succeed.
It transforms a completely passive description of time into a demonstration of willpower.
It really does.
Because without that single nigh syllable, you are a passive victim of time, forced to endure whatever action is happening for the entire endless duration. You are the person forced to hike the volcano for 14 days.
Right.
But with the nigh, you become an active agent. You are choosing exactly when and how to act within the limits you're given.
Language is not just a mechanism for transferring dry data. It is the medium we use to transfer our very experience of the world.
Wow, yeah.
And sometimes the most profound parts of that human experience, the urgency, the consideration, the willpower, they are just hidden in the smallest syllables.
From a passive victim of a mythological mountain climb to an active agent seizing the day, all thanks to one tiny target marker.
It's incredible how much weight a single sound can carry. Adding knee creates space, it creates boundaries, it allows for rest, and it introduces a dynamic sense of psychological urgency into human communication.
It forces us to realize that precision matters. A tiny grammatical tweak doesn't just change the timeline of a sentence, it completely alters the emotional reality of the speaker.
It determines whether you are relaxed, exhausted, considerate, or rushing against a deadline.
And that is a perfect place to wrap up today's deep dive into the grammar of time and action. But before you step back into your day, I want you to take this concept and apply it to your own life.
Definitely.
We've spent this entire time exploring how one missing syllable in Japanese can turn a vacation into a horror story. Think about your own native language.
Oh, that's a good point.
Are there tiny, seemingly insignificant filler words or prepositions that you use every single day completely without thinking that if suddenly dropped or swapped, would accidentally turn your mundane weekend chores into a completely impossible, superhuman feat?
I bet there are plenty.
Keep an eye out for those invisible linguistic hinges. They are the only things holding your reality together. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.